the great circles of the desert. From the intricate bronze masks of Sanxingdui, our journey takes us westward to the arid deserts of Jordan and Syria, lands that hold a very different kind of mystery. Here, the enigma isn't forged in gold or jade, but shaped from stone, spread across vast stretches of barren earth. These big circles first entered the archaeological record in the 1920s, when British Royal Air Force pilots flying over the region spotted enormous, perfectly circular formations etched into the desert floor. From the sky, their symmetry was striking, geometric patterns standing out sharply against the rugged, uneven terrain. Yet on the ground, they were almost invisible, their low stone walls blending seamlessly with the surrounding rocks, easily mistaken for natural features. Early expeditions noted several of these circles, but with limited means and competing priorities, they remained largely ignored for decades. It wasn't until the rise of modern satellite imagery in the 21st century that curiosity about them reignited. With digital mapping tools, researchers could finally locate and study these immense structures in remarkable detail. The mystery of the Sanxingdui Civilization. From the hidden tunnels of Derinkuyu, our journey now turns east to a very different kind of enigma. This mystery isn't carved into the earth, but rather unearthed from it, in fragments of gold, jade, and bronze. Where Derinkuyu astonished the world with its vast underground architecture, Sanxingdui stunned it with artistry so unique and alien that it seemed to belong to an entirely separate chapter of human history. The story of Sanxingdui began in 1929 when a farmer in Sichuan province, China, accidentally discovered a collection of jade artifacts while digging a ditch. The find was noted but soon forgotten, and the site lay mostly untouched for decades. Then, in the 1980s, large-scale excavations revealed two enormous sacrificial pits packed with thousands of extraordinary relics. Archaeologists were immediately captivated, not just by the quantity of artifacts, but by how completely different they were from anything seen in known Chinese cultures. What emerged from the soil were surreal bronze masks with exaggerated features, towering human figures, glittering gold ornaments, intricately carved jade blades, and fantastical animal shapes. Each piece was unlike the last, and unlike anything else from the Bronze Age world. These discoveries pointed to the existence of an advanced, previously unknown civilization, later identified as Sanxingdui. Among the most iconic finds are the colossal bronze masks, some more than a meter wide. Many have wide, tubular eyes that seem to gaze far beyond the present world, while others feature bold noses, large ears, and sharply geometric mouths. Also remarkable are the bronze statues, including one figure over 2 meters tall, thought to have once held an ivory object now lost to time. The site also yielded exquisite gold foil masks, decorative panels, and ritual jade blades carved with animal motifs. One of the most breathtaking artifacts is a 4-meter-tall bronze tree, its spiraling branches and delicate leaves showcasing astonishing craftsmanship and complexity. The metalwork at Sanxingdui was remarkably advanced. Large bronzes were cast in multiple sections and fitted together with near-perfect precision. What stands out most, however, is how radically different Sanxingdui's artistic style is from that of the Shang dynasty, which thrived around the same time in central China. Shang bronzes are compact and symmetrical, often adorned with Taoti masks, while Sanxingdui's works are expansive, abstract, and almost otherworldly. These two civilizations appear to have evolved along entirely separate aesthetic and symbolic paths. Most scholars believe Sanxingdui was part of the ancient Shu kingdom, which prospered in the Sichuan basin around 3,000 years ago. The region's natural barriers, mountains and rivers, likely isolated it from the Yellow River civilizations, allowing its culture to develop independently. Yet, despite its sophistication, Sanxing left behind no written records. Everything we know comes from the artifacts and the site's structure. Evidence suggests a complex and organized society, with expert artisans, religious leaders, and far-reaching trade networks. Items such as ivory, seashells, and rare stones indicate contact with distant regions. Then, suddenly, the city and its culture vanished. No one knows why. Theories range from natural disasters and resource depletion to flooding or war. Whatever the cause, the Sanxingdui civilization disappeared, leaving only its magnificent relics as silent witnesses to its brilliance. The most enduring mystery lies in the art itself. The large protruding eyes found on many masks and statues are unlike anything else in Chinese antiquity. Were they depictions of gods, mythical beings, or ancestors? Some scholars believe they symbolize spiritual vision or enlightenment. Others link them to local myths of divine rulers. Even more puzzling is the lack of direct connection to other cultures of the time. While the Shang shared similar technologies, there's no overlap in artistic expression. This has led some to speculate that Sanxingdui either evolved in isolation or inherited influences from an even older, forgotten civilization. And then there's the question of the sacrificial pits. Why were so many priceless objects deliberately buried? Were they offerings to deities, a farewell to a dying city, or part of a ceremonial ritual marking the end of an era? To this day, Sanxingdui remains one of the greatest archaeological mysteries of the Bronze Age. A civilization that challenges our understanding of ancient China and hints that our picture of early human history may still be missing some crucial pieces. Derinkuyu, the underground city of stone. From the massive, immovable blocks abandoned in a Chinese quarry, we now turn to a completely different kind of monument, one that doesn't rise above the landscape at all. In fact, you wouldn't even see it unless you knew exactly where to look. This next wonder wasn't built upward, but downward, carved deep into the earth itself to create a vast hidden city beneath the ground. In 1963, a man in Cappadocia, Turkey, was renovating his basement when he accidentally broke through a wall and uncovered something astonishing, a tunnel leading to a chamber hewn directly from solid rock. As he continued to explore, more rooms appeared, linked by narrow corridors twisting deep below. What he had discovered wasn't a small cave or storage space, it was the entrance to a sprawling underground metropolis. Today, that discovery is known as Derinkuyu, one of the largest and deepest subterranean cities ever found. It extends nearly 60 meters, about 200 feet below the surface, spreading across multiple interconnected levels. These levels are connected by steep stairways and labyrinthine passages, some wide enough for crowds to move through, others so narrow that only one person can pass at a time. The volcanic rock of Cappadocia, known as tuff, is soft enough to carve, yet strong enough to hold its shape when properly reinforced. For thousands of years, people in this region have carved homes, churches, and storerooms into the cliffs. But Derinkuyu stands apart. Its size and complexity are beyond anything else known in the region. Archaeologists discovered that this city was not a temporary refuge, but a fully functioning settlement capable of sustaining thousands of people for long periods. The ceilings of kitchens were blackened with soot from ancient fires. Storage rooms for grain, wine, and oil lined the corridors. There were communal halls, family dwellings, workshops, and even rooms that appeared to serve as schools or meeting places. One of the most remarkable features of Derinkuyu is its ventilation system. More than 50 shafts carried fresh air to the deepest levels, keeping the underground chambers livable. Some of these shafts also doubled as wells, allowing residents to draw water without ever exposing themselves to the surface. Even livestock had a place underground. Stables were built into the upper levels so animals could be sheltered easily, and huge circular stone doors, sometimes a meter wide, could be rolled into position to block off sections of the city, sealing out intruders. Religious life also thrived below the surface. Archaeologists have identified chapels and prayer rooms, proof that this hidden world served not only as a refuge, but as a complete community with social and spiritual life. With enough space to house up to 20,000 people and their animals, Derinkuyu had to be carefully planned for food storage, waste management, and general order. It was no mere emergency shelter. It was a city built for survival, organization, and endurance. Cappadocia has been home to countless civilizations over the millennia. Hittites, Phrygians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Seljuks, and Ottomans. Its strategic location on major trade routes brought prosperity but also danger, as the region was repeatedly invaded. The origins of Derinkuyu remain uncertain. Some scholars believe the Phrygians began carving the first levels in the 8th or 7th century BC, while others think the Hittites may have started it over 1,000 years earlier. Over time, new civilizations expanded, refined, and repurposed the tunnels. By the Byzantine era, Derinkuyu was clearly in use, serving as a refuge for early Christians escaping persecution, and later as protection against Arab raids. While defense remains the most accepted explanation for its existence, there may have been other purposes. The underground's constant, cool temperature made it perfect for storing food and wine year-round. Some experts suggest it was used seasonally or as a secure stop for traders along the Silk Road. There are also signs that Derinkuyu may have been linked to other underground cities by long tunnels, forming a vast subterranean network for safe movement, trade, and communication. Building a city like this would have been a monumental feat. Even with soft volcanic rock, removing the massive quantities of stone without modern tools would have been an enormous challenge. Workers relied on oil lamps for light, and the builders clearly had to design an efficient ventilation system from the start to manage air and smoke. Architecturally, the city was ingeniously engineered. Ceilings and walls were shaped to distribute weight evenly, and support pillars were left in critical areas to prevent collapse. The oldest sections are rougher and narrower, while newer areas are smoother and more spacious, signs that Derinkuyu evolved gradually over generations, each era adding to its complexity. Most experts agree that its primary purpose was protection, a secure refuge during times of war and invasion. Yet the sheer scale raises deeper questions. Why was it built to house so many people? Were conditions on the surface truly so dangerous that entire communities had to live underground for months at a time? Or did Derinkuyu serve multiple roles: defense, trade, storage, and seasonal living all at once? What's certain is that Derinkuyu was not alone. More than 200 underground settlements have been discovered across Cappadocia, some possibly linked by kilometers of tunnels. This suggests the existence of a vast hidden world beneath the surface, a networked civilization operating in secret. Standing in Derinkuyu's silent, echoing chambers today, you can't help but wonder, who first imagined carving a city of stone beneath the earth? And what was happening in the world above that drove them to seek refuge so deep below the sun? The ruins of the Yangshan Quarry. On the outskirts of Nanjing, in China's Jiangsu province, lies the Yangshan Quarry, a place that has supplied stone for centuries. Its origins reach far back before the Ming Dynasty, but it was during that era that the quarry became the site of one of the most ambitious engineering projects in Chinese imperial history. In the early 15th century, during the reign of the Yongle Emperor, the quarry was chosen to provide stone for his grand mausoleum, part of the vast Ming Shaoling complex. Workers began cutting directly into the hillside, shaping enormous blocks of stone on a scale never before seen in Chinese architecture. The goal was nothing less than monumental: to create a colossal stele that would stand as a symbol of eternal imperial glory. But what remains today tells a very different story: a quarry frozen in time where colossal blocks still lie half-carved, as if the workers simply laid down their tools and walked away. 3 immense stones dominate the site, each still embedded in the bedrock. The largest of these, never detached from the ground, is estimated to weigh an astonishing 16,000 tons, making it the heaviest stone block ever attempted in human history. For perspective, that's heavier than many modern naval destroyers. Nearby, two slightly smaller blocks lie in varying stages of completion, each weighing several thousand tons. Their scale leaves no doubt that the intended monument would have been one of breathtaking proportions, an engineering achievement unlike anything else from the era. Historical records suggest these giant stones were intended to form the base, body, and head of the monumental stele for the Yongle Emperor's mausoleum, an upright structure meant to tower above the surrounding landscape and immortalize his power. Instead, the stones remain embedded in the quarry floor, their sharp edges and chiseled faces silent reminders of the project's ambition and its sudden, mysterious halt. Today, the site presents a haunting contrast: rough natural rock blending with smooth, precise cuts of human craftsmanship. The vision behind the Yangshan project can only be understood by appreciating its staggering technical challenges. The largest block, at roughly 16,000 tons, far exceeds the lifting capacity of even today's most powerful cranes. Transporting it over uneven terrain without modern tools or vehicles is almost unimaginable. Picture teams of Ming-era laborers under the blazing sun, armed only with chisels, hammers, and wedges. Each strike echoed through the quarry walls, progress measured in inches rather than meters. Once carved free, the stones would have needed to be hauled several kilometers to the mausoleum site, a feat requiring thousands of workers, wooden sledges, reinforced roads, and a constant rotation of timbers to prevent collapse under the immense weight. Even the legendary monoliths of Baalbek in Lebanon, long a subject of debate for their transport techniques, pale in comparison to Yangshan's massive stones. The logistics of moving, lifting, and positioning such blocks would have been almost impossible, even if manpower was limitless. Whether the plan was ever truly feasible remains uncertain, which makes the decision to begin carving them even more intriguing. So why was the project abandoned? The most widely accepted theory is straightforward. The stones were simply too heavy to move. It's possible that after carving began, engineers realized that the logistics of transport and installation were beyond even imperial capabilities. Even if the blocks could somehow have been moved, raising and assembling them at the mausoleum would have posed another insurmountable challenge. There may also have been political or practical reasons. The Ming dynasty was an age of massive construction, from the Forbidden City to parts of the Great Wall, and imperial resources may have been diverted elsewhere. The Yongle Emperor was known for grand ambitions, but even his projects had limits. Some historians believe that once the scale of the task became clear, the emperor or his engineers decided that continuing risked disaster, possibly even damaging the mausoleum itself if the colossal stones failed during transport. Whatever the reason, work stopped abruptly, leaving behind one of the most striking what-if moments in architectural history. Even now, the Yangshan Quarry continues to puzzle historians and engineers alike. The sheer size of the blocks challenges our understanding of what was technically possible in the early 1400s. Moving them intact would still be a monumental feat even today. Was this a case of imperial ambition outpacing reality? Or did the Ming builders possess a lost method for moving massive stones that we no longer understand? Standing at the base of these unfinished giants, one can't help but feel awe. The quarry is a monument not to what was completed, but to the human drive to attempt the impossible. The stones remain where they were carved over 6 centuries ago, frozen in time, waiting for someone to finally discover how to finish what was started. And perhaps the most fascinating question of all still lingers. Could it be done today?